In early November, the Beatles released their first new single in nearly 3 decades, and the response was overwhelming. Massive initial demand led to the song's rapid ascent up the Billboard charts after John Lennon abandoned the unfinished recording. The song, titled Now and Then, was completed by the surviving two members with the aid of artificial intelligence. Relatively recently, Starr admitted that the band's early days were spent worrying about whether or not they would survive, saying, "When we started, we thought that maybe we'd have 10 years. According to him, that was the maximum span for a rock and roll group at the time, so it was a safe bet that they would last for that long. When asked how long it would last, he exclaimed, "None of us thought it would last a week." Paul was going to be a writer, I was going to start a hair salon, and George was going to buy a car repair shop. But it continued until eventually it ceased. And I believe just in time. But that didn't prevent us from having fun together anyway. This week's edition of Adult Alternative Airplay features Now and Then at the top of the chart for its first week of release. Each week, Billboard compiles the chart to see which songs are the most popular on radio stations that play adult alternative airplay, which is basically alternative rock for an older audience. This time around, the latest from the Beatles opens at number 9. As Now and Then starts within the top 10 on the Adult Alternative Airplay chart, it lifts the Beatles back to the highest tier on one of Billboard's many radio-focused lists for the first time in decades. According to the company, it has been 28 years since the band has been heard on the radio's top spots. When the Beatles released what was widely assumed to be their final single, the song debuted in the top 10 on several Billboard radio charts. Also released in late 1995, the group's Free as a Bird song debuted at No. 1 on the Hot 100, albeit on a different chart. Another radio-only list compiled by the chart publisher had that song peak at No. 8, Mainstream Rock Airplay. The Beatles' Now and Then is the first of their songs to reach the top 10 on the Adult Alternative Airplay chart, but it is not their first appearance on the chart overall. Prior to this, the highest the Fab Four had ever charted was No. 11, with Free as a Bird. Months after they earned that initial success, they returned to the top 20 with its follow-up, Real Love, which moved to No. 16. Only 3 of the band's songs have been featured on the chart so far. After its first full tracking week, Now and Then has already surpassed not only the Adult Alternative Airplay chart, but also the top 10 of many other Billboard rankings. It also topped the charts for digital song sales, the Hot 100, and other genre-specific music charts.